So when we were kids, we played Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
And I always had to be Roscoe P. Coltrane.
I love it. I love it. Don't you
and we
touch me.
would chase each...
We Flash. Oh, my fat little buddy. I love it.
We would chase each other.
You tell me to shush you.
We would chase each other.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome. It's a podcast. Now sit down, shut up, and listen to your hosts, Mike and Darren.
I need something.
That sounds so fake. I'm Darren.
I'm Mike.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome.
We are dads.
Yes, we are.
We're irritable.
We're here. And that's
a syndrome.
Yes, there's all those things.
That sucked, but we're rolling with it.
We're
Go.
gonna keep it. Yeah,
we're live.
Yeah. It doesn't get any better than this.
Hey,
guys.
we got a hot show for you today.
We do.
We've got a whole list of things.
We do. It's called a rundown.
A rundown.
We're trying very hard to stick to that rundown because I don't know.
Yeah.
There are some people who have listened to every episode we have.
Yeah.
And I know there are people who are coming along and joining us late in the game.
Uh-huh.
If you go back and listen to some of our, I don't know, first dozen or so episodes, we didn't have a rundown.
No.
We weren't necessarily winging it, but we had ideas jotted down. We never knew what we were going to say when we were going to say it, and the shows sounded awful.
Yeah. And we
decided
probably good to plan these things out a little bit.
We needed some structure.
Yeah.
We're learning as we go,
now,
kids.
I was
learning
originally against the structure internally.
Okay.
Because I liked the
sounds
chaos.
like you. Yeah.
I like the chaos of it.
Yeah.
In terms of comedians, I tend towards Robin Williams.
Uh-huh.
And in my mind, structure tends toward Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those are the two ends of the spectrum for me. I have a feeling that if Seinfeld and Robin Williams ever shared the stage,
right,
it would either be absolutely hilarious or a murder would occur.
I wonder what would happen there because I mean,
it seems like Seinfeld would get so annoyed with.
I don't know. I have a feeling that Jerry would hold his own.
No, not in terms of whether one. I think they would both be hilarious,
right?
But I think that tension would build, and Jerry would get annoyed.
I don't know because I think.
Oh, actually, he does that thing. Comedians in cars getting coffee.
Brilliant.
Okay.
I don't know that anybody appreciates comics more than Jerry Seinfeld does.
Okay.
So I believe that Jerry Seinfeld, he would be out of his element because his routine are all, I mean, he is so focused on this word followed by this word and this and this and the timing. And Robin Williams is all over the place.
Well, see, that turned me off when I was a kid.
I'm convinced that Robin had a routine oftentimes, but he wouldn't get to it. You know, he would get, see, oh, something shiny. Oh, hey, you're the one who,
testicle.
No, Shazbot, yeah. And then, you know, an hour and a half later, thank you, good night.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that if Jerry and Robin had shared the stage, I think Jerry could adapt to that type of thing. I think he could find something and quickly jump on that. Okay. That's my theory.
Well, I see. When I was a kid, I didn't think, and by kid, I don't know how old I mean as a kid, but when Seinfeld first came into prominence, I did not think he was funny.
Well,
I think he's absolutely hilarious.
Season one.
No. I'm not talking about the show.
Oh, okay.
Before the show. Like when I found out he got a show and there was a Seinfeld show coming on, I remember thinking, why did he get a show?
Oh, okay.
He's not funny.
Oh, I remember him on the early days of Letterman and on Johnny Carson. I've always thought the guy was funny. I got his book for Christmas.
Oh.
And the book has every joke he's ever written in it.
Oh, my God.
From the 70s all the way up to now. And it's great. It's great. I'll be sitting there reading it and start crying, laughing at some stuff that he put. He's got an amazing mind.
But yeah, I've always watched comedians. I've always liked comedians. I've always loved comedy.
Yeah.
But I remember when Norm Macdonald started. This isn't on a rundown, but we're going with it.
No.
I remember seeing the first One Night Stand with Norm Macdonald, and like HBO One Night Stand, their half-hour show.
Yeah.
They always had like a little skit or something that the artist put together. And Norm's was that he was like hitchhiking through cow country, and he kept talking about cows, and it was like, hey, you know, there's a cow over there.
Yeah, you know, they're just standing there and
moo.
Yeah, hey,
moo, cow.
What's going on there? You know, I mean, what are you, a cow?
And he comes out, and he would just like, It was the weirdest show because for the first 5 to 10 minutes, I'm like, when he's not telling a joke, but everyone's laughing. He was literally just saying things like, I went down to the post office there, where the mail goes out.
You want to get some letters there.
Put it in the thing.
and put a stamp on it.
Yeah.
And then it goes to somebody.
And it's like slowly, it was like a comedy by beating it slowly into my brain. By the end of it, I was laughing myself silly. He's one of my favorite comedians of all time.
Mine too.
And now, when I see him, I watched, because of our last episode, I was listening to it, and I had to flip over and watch the final Letterman appearance.
I did it too.
And that is still one of the greatest comedic performances of all time. Mm-hmm. I have heard and delivered I don't know if you're a history buffs, but so many times. But every time I see that, I laugh myself silly over it. So
he's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So
okay.
Well, listen, there's something I wanted to talk about. We got a $100 donation to the podcast. I know, right? And the person who gave us the donation just said, I love your podcast. Yeah. You don't have to mention my name. No big deal, but I want you to have this and put it and advertise the show, buy whatever equipment, do whatever you can to help the show. And we just sincerely are amazed, and we genuinely very much appreciate that. And that's what we're going to do with it. We're going to use it to promote the show. And So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was a wonderful gesture. Yeah. Now for the rest of you. What the hell?
Yeah. What are you doing there?
Free.
Put your hands in your pockets. Yeah. Get some loose change. Put it in a jar. Whatever.
Here's the deal. There's a website. Yeah. There's costs for the hosting of the website. There's costs for the hosting of the podcast. What you're listening to right now.
Yeah.
We have to pay someone to hold that up there.
Yeah.
Pay for your access. If you're one of our many fans, if you're one of our many fan in Nevada, you probably came across our show because of an ad that was placed. Guess what? Facebook just doesn't create those on its own.
No.
Well, I don't know how they do it.
I have no idea. There's a laser, and it goes up into space, and it hits like a satellite, and then it bounces back, and I think there's radiation, and it causes some type of spots on your skin. But outside of that, that's how it works.
So this so far is a labor of love.
Yes.
And dedication. Mm-hmm. It started as, you go back to the first episode, you can hear about how it started.
Yeah.
Welcome back. We're still enjoying this. We're at episode 38 now, right? I love how
you assume somebody paused. They paused us.
They paused us.
Then they went to episode 1. Yeah. They listened to it, and an hour later, we're back.
Yeah, when I talk, people listen, and that's exactly what happened. So welcome back.
Welcome back.
We're paying for it, and it's okay. Mm-hmm. We're going to still do it.
Yeah.
But at some point, we're going to get on each other's nerves. We've already had a few rows.
Yeah.
And at some point...
3 weeks ago, it got ugly.
It got a little ugly.
I threw something at Mike.
Yeah, and I didn't notice.
I wasn't proud of myself.
And I was kind of proud of you for throwing something at me. I wish I would have noticed that you did that.
Well, I mean, I missed you when I threw it 4 feet away, and I missed you.
So,
anyway. So thank you for the donation.
Thank you for
We're
the donation.
Put it into the show. We're going to keep doing the show because we love doing it.
The more, I'm not one to beg for money, but Jesus, please. I got kids. They got to go to college at some point.
We eat generic brand cereal at my house.
With the money that we could do some things with the show. We want to have a crowbar event.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to let us go in there for free.
No.
I mean, I'm a silver-tongued devil, but I don't think I can get that to happen.
Well, what we want to do is bring in guests on this show.
Yeah.
And whenever we do...
And find Margie a husband.
Yes.
Over in the milk aisle or something.
Yeah.
Or the briquettes.
But I mean, we need to have a bigger system set up where we can record our guests.
Like a PA.
Exactly.
Something more than a karaoke machine that I'm planning on renting to take out there.
Exactly. So anyway, I found out, Mike, that I unintentionally pissed somebody off on Facebook. And this is a good friend of mine.
Okay.
It's a friend of mine I've known forever. I'm not going to get into any of the details.
Okay.
Because eventually he may listen to the podcast. And I had said something weeks ago, and it rubbed him the wrong way. And anyway, I found out that I had upset him, and I reached out. I cleared everything up. It was a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that I reached out, and he's happy that I reached out. Anyway, we took care of it, and everything's fine.
All right.
But it reminded me.
Okay.
There have been a few times, well, there have been more than a few times, where I've pissed people off and not intended to do it.
That's the worst.
I know. So one of them happened a couple of days ago. There's a group on Facebook called Eyes of a Generation. And the members of this group are people who've worked in broadcasting for years and years and years, right?
Okay.
And every day, the pictures or the articles or whatever are about old cameras and old type of lights and the first time the Today Show went and what this set looked like and this satellite truck. And a lot of this stuff would bore most people.
Yeah.
I ate up a lot of it.
Okay.
So somebody posted a picture of this camera, and they said that the camera operator dollied the camera in to get shots of these fake dollar bills. And I said, excuse me, I believe the term you meant to say was you panned in.
Oh.
That's an ongoing joke.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing joke with directors and with camera operators.
It's an inside joke in
It's
the
an
industry.
inside joke with camera operators because you pan the camera right and left.
Okay.
You tilt the camera up and down.
Okay.
You zoom the camera in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when I said, I believe you meant to say that you pan the camera,
Yeah.
within a minute, two guys had, are you serious? And another person sent me like this 4-paragraph list of what the camera does, tilting up and down, panning right and left. And I had to okay, everybody calm down.
Yeah.
That was a joke. That's why I put a smiley face after I believe what you meant to say was you panned in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had to explain to all these guys who've worked in the industry for 50 some years. Why are they on Facebook? They need to be at the pharmacy getting their pills.
Oh,
some
hostility.
I'm having to explain to everybody, I was kidding around, but they,
bunch of humorless
flew up their nose. So there was that.
Well, okay, so I want to dig into this a little bit.
Okay.
So they said that you annoyed them, and they
didn't flat out say you've annoyed me.
Well, they just.
But I had to explain, and then they're like, "Oh, okay."
Well, let me ask you this: have you ever come across? Because this has happened to me, and I'm curious what your reaction is. Have you ever realized that someone unfriended you that you didn't know unfriended you, and it's like an actual friend in real life?
Yeah.
So without getting into specifics, we're in 2021.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're listening to this in the far-flung future, first off, what the hell are you doing listening to this? But second,
the year is 2030, and I'm decided to listen to a podcast from 9 years ago.
Second, 2020 was what many would consider to be
the worst year ever.
A rather challenging year.
Yeah.
A rather challenging time.
Exactly.
Some would say that
John Oliver blew it up.
Yeah. Some would say very strongly held beliefs were on opposite sides of issues. I'm tiptoeing through.
There was no middle ground.
No. You're either with us or you're against us, to steal the parlance of a previous era.
Yes.
And during that time, many a friend was lost and unfriended and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm curious, did that happen to you during that time? And how did that affect you?
Yes.
Did it affect your relationship with that person? Do you see that person like often or?
No.
No.
This happened to me with a, boy, how do I say this without giving away who it was? It's a friend of mine who I know through my wife.
Okay.
So it got really weird. And
so you unfriended Bess?
No, No, I didn't unfriend anybody.
Oh, they unfriended you.
Somebody unfriended me. And it was really surprising because I never would have thought this person would unfriend me.
Yeah.
Eventually, I want to reach out, clear the air, and say, hey, I'd like to think that for whatever reason, you unfriended me. And I always do this. If somebody does unfriend me, like, what did I say? I apologize. I didn't mean it that way.
Are you afraid that they're going to blow up and say, the world is flat, you...
Yeah.
Just haul off and punch you.
And then I'm like, well, if it's flat, then how come you can't get under the planet?
That's right. So, yeah, my favorite thing is, and it's only happened to me a couple of times, and each time it stops me on my tracks, you get the little thing in Facebook, it suggests friends. And it'll suggest someone that you were like, I'm
wait a minute, we're friends
with. What the hell with that?
Hey, yeah.
So, my wife, Bess, had texted me, so-and-so, I just found out so-and-so unfriended me. I'm like, oh. So I'm like, let me go look at because I'm friends with them too. Let me go look at their page and see if they're talking smack. And I had been unfriended.
Okay.
And I'm like, and I'm still friended by friends that we have in common. So it creates this weird Cold War thing going on because at some point, like everyone will be together and you just be looking over, you're like, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah. It's the world of social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've said it before. There are people who I have unfriended who I'm still friends with in real life.
Okay.
I just don't want to see what they post on their page.
Well, see, unfriending goes a step further. You can unfollow them so you don't see it. But I understand because I've done both.
Every time I try to unfollow somebody, it goes the whole 9 yards. So I'm doing something wrong. There's no shock there.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Have you ever unfriended someone because they ticked you off and then gone back and refriended them?
No.
I've done that twice.
No.
Yeah. And nothing was said, which cracks me because Bess was like amazed that I did that. And I was like, nobody said anything. We just went along our way.
I was at a barbecue years ago.
Yeah.
And this guy was talking, and I can't remember why or what happened. He said something that inspired me to start singing a Lionel Richie song. It really, seriously pissed him off to where he was like up in my face.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it dancing in the ceiling?
No. It was Say You, Say Me.
Oh.
He got up in my grill, and he's like, you got a problem? And I'm like,
whoa.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm about to. And, I'm thinking, this is going somewhere that I totally had not planned. And my buddy was there, and then this girl was there, and they all just sort of came up like, guys, is there anything wrong? And he's like, no. And he walked off, and I instantly unfriended and blocked him on Facebook and Twitter.
Oh, wow. You were friends with him and that happened.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of that.
Wow.
So, and the year after this, we went back and had a cookout again. And my friend Karen, she told her, she says, you go over there and you apologize to Darren right now. And he's like, man, I'm really sorry. I was in a bad way. And I'm sorry. It's like, it's all right. We're cool. And I'm still not psychopath, man.
Yeah.
Well, here's another time that I unintentionally pissed someone off, and you're going to get a kick out of this.
Okay.
I had mentioned one day, someone had posted a Weird Al video. I don't remember which Weird Al video it was. And I said, I think Weird Al was funnier with the glasses and the mustache.
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's in question?
That's what started it. People were like, well, clearly, you haven't listened to any of his newer stuff because Weird Al is a musical genius. And I said, I understand that Weird Al is a musical genius, and I have all his CDs and I have all the DVDs. I've got the movie, I've got the Weird Al show, I've got all his videos. And they're like, well, you're so far set in your ways that, I mean, they really lost their because I said Weird Al was funnier with the glasses and the mustache.
Yeah. When did he lose it? Was it Amish Paradise from then on that he
It might have been
because he had it on Eat It.
Yeah, he had it on Eat It. He had it on Polka Party. He had it on
UHF. He had it all. Yes, that's made Conehead the Librarian so funny.
Conan the Barbarian, not Conehead the Barbarian.
I thought it was Conehead the Librarian.
Conan the Librarian.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it was after that he got contacts, and then he grew his hair long. And he shaved the mustache, and I just think he doesn't look weird anymore.
Yeah.
And that was my thing, but I really rubbed people the wrong way with that. You don't piss off Weird Al fans.
No. They'll cut you.
Speaking of, have you seen Weird Al's wife?
No, I didn't know he was married.
He was talking about his wife.
Yeah.
And how long he's been married, and he has a daughter.
Okay.
I went for fun and Googled Weird Al's wife. She's beautiful.
Okay.
I mean, this is like what Weird Al and I have in common.
Yeah.
Because when people see my wife, they're like, man, you married somebody way hotter than you did.
How the hell did you do that?
I know.
Yeah.
And that's what Weird Al did. I mean, she could have married him for his money. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any money. I don't know. I still don't understand why Libby married me.
Yeah.
But anyway.
She feels sorry for you.
Maybe. I don't know.
This portion of Irritable Dad Syndrome is brought to you by Pink Lady and Jeff. This variety show full of comedy, song, and dance is fun for the whole family. Join us next week with incredible guest stars Greg Evigan, Hugh Hefner, and Cheap Trick. Pink Lady and Jeff, only on NBC. Check local listings.
We got news the other day at my TV station that we're soon going to be returning to the office. I've been working from home for well over a year, like a year and a month, year and 2 months, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun. And this reminded me of a couple of office stories, and maybe you can jump in with some office stories. A couple of years ago, I'm at the office, and I'm working very late. It's like 7 o'clock. And one of the salespeople came down and walked past and saw me and asked, "Are you still here?" And I said,
No.
I said, "No, I'm a hologram." And that pissed her off.
You've got a lot of humorless people in your life.
I know.
Who don't like a joke. Like, they won't stand for a joke.
I know. And when I worked at my first TV station, there was a guy who worked there. He was the production manager. Ed Oliver was his name. Okay. Right. Ed was the production manager. I was editing my commercials off in my edit room and in my office. Well, people were looking for Ed Oliver all the time.
Okay.
All the time. And if they didn't see him in his office, they would come to me. They would walk into my room and they would say, "Is Ed Oliver in here?" They would ask. Let me repeat that.
If he was in your room.
Is Ed Oliver in here?
Yeah.
Okay, now my room didn't have there's only one door that went in. There was no window.
Yeah.
There's no couch to hide behind.
Yeah.
No place to hide. And so when people would walk in, I would say, "No, I haven't seen him." Well, I got tired of it because they were constantly coming in asking, "Is Ed Oliver in here?"
Yeah.
And so finally someone walks in and said, "Is Ed Oliver here?" And I said, "Hang on, let me check." And I opened a drawer. I looked under the trash can. Yeah. I got up and pulled my chair behind the wall. "No, Ed, no." They got mad and walked off.
Did you ever think about getting a cardboard cutout of Ed Oliver and sticking him in the corner?
That would have been great. But I finally just printed up a sign that said, "Ed Oliver is not here." And I put it on my door.
Yeah.
And my friend Larry comes in and goes, "Hey, how did you know I was going to ask that?" Because that's what everybody does. Yeah. Everybody asks that.
Now, the question is, did Ed Oliver then start hanging out in your office to get away from all these looking for him all the time?
We're friends. Yeah, he would come in.
Yeah.
If he had, they worked him to death. He was just constantly just getting it on all four sides. They were just tearing him up, And if he did have a break, he would come in and check and, "Hey, what's going on? And what are you working on?" And we would talk about kids and whatever else. God, I miss him. What a great guy. Yeah. But, they would constantly come in. When I moved to Cincinnati, I had a job lined up. Well, I had interviewed I'm not going to mention the TV station. I'm not going to mention the name of the person who interviewed me. I interviewed at a TV station in Cincinnati. Okay. The interview went very well.
Yep.
I was living in Tennessee.
Okay.
And they called me and said, "Can you come back up for a follow-up interview?" I came back up for the follow-up interview. This time I interviewed the creative services director. Yeah. I interviewed two of her writers. Okay. They interviewed me. I met with an editor. I met with the news director. Yeah. I met with 7 or 8 people.
Things were going well.
Very
well. In your mind.
Very well.
Or they were spending a lot of time with someone for that not to go well.
Exactly. Yeah. Why would you have me meet with 8 people in the department if it's not going to work? Yeah. So before I left, this person tells me, "Darren, listen, unless Francis Ford Coppola walks through that door, this job is yours." Okay. I never got the job. Francis Ford Coppola. We were talking about The Godfather last weekend. Yeah. That reminded me of that. So I have a good friend who worked there for years and years and years, and I told him that story. Yeah. And he relayed it to everybody there, and they got a big kick out of that. So yeah, every time I see The Godfather or hear about Francis Ford Coppola, I'm reminded
stealing son of a...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Francis. Thanks a lot.
We want to thank everybody except Chris Hughes for listening.
Our dog has lost her mind. She knows we're down. Yeah. She's mad that you didn't say hi to her when you came.
Well, she was outside when
I know, but
I'll say hi to her.
She thinks the world revolves around her.
Well, she's a dog.
And here's the deal.
Yeah.
So we had a previous dog, Molly. You remember Molly?
Many times.
Molly did not like people. I think by the time you came around, she liked people. Or she just tolerated. She never really liked them.
She might have been too old to care. Yeah. I don't like you, but you know what? I'm tired.
Yeah, she's at the point, my hip hurts. I'm going to lie down. Otherwise, I would rip your freaking throat out.
Right.
That's kind of how she was.
Right.
But she got along perfectly with other dogs. I mean, other dogs would lose their mind to the point where their owners were embarrassed when we would walk Molly. Mm-hmm. And Molly would give the appropriate level of interest.
Right.
She would either completely ignore them or like give a cursory butt sniff and maybe a dog nod and go on.
What's up?
Yeah, and we were complimented on how well...
That's what dogs call female dogs.
That's right. We were complimented on how well behaved she was with other dogs. With people, she was...
Not so much.
More like a werewolf. Okay. Not that good with people. Really didn't like kids holding hot dogs. Snatched a hot dog out of a kid's mouth and then decided...
Out of the mouth?
Well, I'm sorry, out of the hand.
Okay, I was going to say, that's...
And then looked like she was going to go back for more. And I mean, we had some rough times there.
Mm-hmm.
Dakota is the exact opposite. We found out. She loves people. She can't stop from jumping, as you are aware.
She's a big sweetie and she likes to jump on people.
So with Molly, we had 15 years, like the Pavlov's dog experiment, so we were get scared or worried when we see other people walking. We got to that point with Dakota. She just wants to say, hey, and get petted and all that stuff. With other dogs, she loses her mind. She can't handle it.
Right.
Because we put her in doggy daycare this past weekend and no. They told us that she almost had a nervous breakdown with the other dogs walking around.
Oh.
Whereas Molly used to teach at the doggy daycare. So I would like a dog in the middle. I would like a dog that that can be around other dogs pleasantly and doesn't kill people.
Right. Back when we had Conrad, our beagle, stupidest dog ever, lovable, absolutely lovable dog. And we'd take him to the park and he would let everybody, all the kids could pet him and everything. But yeah, when you'd go to the house or people would come to the house, he would howl and there was no calming him down. He could not. And he would jump, but he would howl more. And every time we'd open the door, the dog would run away. So that crazy dog. I miss him.
So you asked me a question.
I did.
Via text. You said, can we go see the new Saw movie?
Yeah. I was thinking that we could go see Saw. It's called...
What's it called?
It's called
Saw Man?
Spinal.
Jigsaw?
Spiral.
Oh, because the little puppet has spirals on its cheeks.
Not Spinal. That's something else. Spiral.
Yeah.
Chris Rock.
Yeah. So
I'm thinking this movie's going to be so bad that it's good.
Well, okay, so you got me thinking about Saw, because we talked about Saw in the Halloween episode.
Our worst episode.
It's been surpassed by the thermal detonators episode as far as being the worst. There's more people now that have downloaded the Halloween one than the what's the deal with all these thermal detonators, which I thought was a good episode.
I like that one.
So we clearly don't know what makes a good episode.
We don't. We have no rhyme or reason.
But we talked about the Saw movie, and we talked about it briefly when we started here. So when Saw first came out, I didn't see it in the theater. I don't know. I rented it, or I don't know how the hell I saw it.
I watched it on DVD.
Okay. And I thought it was dumb. And then I watched it again, and I liked it. Mm-hmm. Okay. I was like, that's a pretty good movie. And then I started trying to watch through the series.
Blew my mind.
Yeah. And then I started watching the series and 2, and it kind of tied into 1. And then I watched, all that, and I lost interest. I petered out at Saw 4.
I stopped after.
So when you asked me this question, I thought I can't go see the new Saw. I've always had it. Okay, here's the deal: is I think Jigsaw is an interesting character for a horror movie.
Okay,
it's basically like Dexter with an engineering degree. It's basically what he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of cool. I don't think they handle it very well. But that's what he is. And I was thinking last night, because last night I made it through Saw 3.
Isn't the guy who does the voice, is he dead?
No, he's alive.
Okay.
Tobin Bell.
Right.
The actor, yeah.
Dude, I love
Yeah, he was in 24. He was in. Did you ever watch 24?
I watched every episode of 24.
Yeah, he was the bad guy in. I think season 1 it was Dennis Hopper. I think season 2 Tobin Bell. The Jigsaw was the.
Okay, I don't remember that, but I have seen every episode.
I think it's the only other thing I remember him from. He was in like things like Melrose Place or whatever. He was like the guy.
Tobin Bell was in Melrose Place.
I don't know. He was in stuff.
90210.
Here's the deal.
He was the wacky neighbor.
Yeah. So
hey kids, you want to go to the Peach Pit?
I was thinking last night while I was watching Saw 3, a few things. I just let it go. This would be an amazing franchise if they gave it to somebody like, I don't know. Name it. Scorsese, not Scorsese. He wouldn't do
Francis Ford Coppola.
Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah.
Or George Lucas could throw Jar Jar Binks in there. It would be, I'm kidding. But if they gave it
mention that again.
If they gave it to somebody that could improve the writing and make it less teenagery, because when I'm watching these movies,
well, that's the core audience.
I know, but I like the idea of a serial killer that uses traps to kill people.
Yeah, you're not going to go to that movie and learn anything. Okay,
but when you watch the damn thing,
it really made me think.
Yeah,
no.
when you watch the damn thing, it's like, okay, there's a trap. Now you're going to have a fast cut of somebody screaming and then going back to looking like they don't know what's going on and then screaming,
right?
And then that
splat,
and it just all that.
Yeah,
and it's like, get over yourself. You thought of, when you wrote this movie, you thought of 3 or 4 things that kill people, and then you try to put a story in. At least the first one, it was cool. It was like a room. The whole thing was, it was a room, and it's like everything's. It was basically an escape the room horror story.
Or die horror story.
Escape the room or die.
Yeah.
So I'm watching Saw 3 last night.
Okay,
because I'm determined. Ever since you asked this question, now I've got this like weird thing. I've got to get through all the Saw movies.
I didn't mean to do that.
And then watch it. I'm halfway through Saw 3, and 2 things kept bugging me. One, this guy looks really, really, really familiar, and I don't know who it is. And I kept thinking it was a guy that worked at like Tudor's Biscuit World or something when I was growing up.
Yeah,
he looked like
you're the guy that gave me extra gravy.
He looked like
Tudor's
a guy
Biscuit
that would
World.
work at Tudor's Biscuit World. It's like a dumpy.
How the hell are you?
Whatever. And I finally, I got my phone sitting there. I look it up, and it said this. It gave the name, and I clicked him, and I looked, and it said best known as Robert the Bruce in Braveheart, and then my heart sank.
Right.
I'm like, man, you were like one of the coolest characters in Braveheart.
I know, but he's making money. How many actors do you
sad.
Love who've made crap movies?
It just makes you sad. It'd be like Tom Hanks doing a Massengill commercial or something now.
Wow.
You know?
Come on, guys. Everybody wants this stuff.
It made me sad. And then the other thing is, have you seen Saw 3? I think that's
the last one I saw.
He's they make a little hospital room.
They're all the same.
They make a hospital room in his room of death, and they kidnap a doctor, and they put a collar around her with shotgun shells and a little trigger.
Yeah.
And if his heartbeat stops, it triggers the thing and it blows her head off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm cringing like crazy because he's got a little protege that is setting up these things for him. And she's got this whole written by a 14-year-old thing of like every time the other girl does something, they have to have here we go. Here's a shot of her looking jealous and looking evil. And then like, well, I don't like the way you're looking at him. Like, oh my God, this turned into frickin' The Bachelorette or something.
Yeah.
In Saw. And that's bothering me. Every time Robert the Bruce is on the screen, I'm concerned about this man's career. And then it hit me.
He makes more money than you. I know.
I
think he's fine.
So the thing is that the lady's a doctor, and she's got to keep him alive.
Right.
Or they're going to blow her head off.
Right.
If she walks away, it's going to blow her head off.
Right.
And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, all it is these little trigger things, like the Old West, like Yosemite Sam cocks the things, and boom, cock the hammer, like right, and goes up and hits the shell. I'm like, you're in a thing, a mechanic's, an engineer's dream.
Okay.
And also a doctor, like a little hospital. There's tons of gauze. There's tons of wire. There's tons of these things. And Little Miss, I don't like you.
Probably antiseptic.
Little Miss, I can't stand you because you're taking the limelight away from me. Is busy off in the corner making her TikTok videos or whatever the hell she's doing,
right?
And sulking, and she keeps spreading scalpels out on a thing and
how many
staring at them.
You do that once
and coming back,
and then they're out.
Yeah, and I'm like, just wrap gauze around the thing. Or here's an idea.
Wait,
get pliers.
Are you telling me that you can wrap gauze around your neck and it'll keep you from being killed by a shotgun shell?
Around the hammers, or put wires on them so that when it clicks and they release, they don't go. Or use all the tools you have in that room that they don't follow you in, and has all these tools that make all these things that he does, and remove the shells, and then just walk your ass out the thing, flag down the nearest cop car, and say, there's a crazy man and a crazy in there.
Dude, it's not that simple. If it was that simple, then
that's the problem. It is that simple. It is that simple.
I don't think so.
It's that simple.
I don't think so.
It's that simple.
It's not.
It's that simple.
I don't think so.
It is that simple. They were high on the dope, and they wrote these thing.
Crazy kids, smoking the marijuana.
No, the first one's ingenious.
Snorting meth.
The first one, you've got the chain, and then they keep tying to the first one. That's why now I'm getting on a rant. That's why I have to keep watching these damn movies. Okay. Because they keep tying him back to the first one. The second one ties to the first one because they take the cop and they put him in the room with where they were in the first one.
Right. Danny Glover.
Third one, they spend a lot of time showing how she set up the room with him. And it does that thing.
Yeah.
The fourth one, I don't know. They're going to end up back in that room again.
Right.
Saul's dead.
Uh-huh.
You have to watch the fourth one because, like, how the hell is he going to do this? He's
you don't have to.
Yeah. You don't have to, but I kind of want to.
Okay.
And then there's the one where the last one, the final chapter, or maybe it was the final chapter before the final chapter, has the Tobin Bell guy, the jigsaw killer.
Yeah.
The poster has a bunch of scaffolding and like a puzzle piece on his face. I want to see what that's about.
Okay. So why did you tell me you didn't want to go see Spiral?
And now I kind of do.
Okay.
But I want to, here's the thing.
Because I asked you, and you're like, no, I want to
watch all these. I want to watch all these movies. I can't stand. It annoys me. I got halfway through 3 and it pissed me off that she didn't do these things.
See, I like when you get annoyed.
Here's the deal.
This is like me with John Wick.
Yeah, but here, you would have fun going to see Chris Rock Saw with me. I would not have fun going to see John Wick with you because the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, this is awesome. This is awesome. And I'm going to look over. There's only a few things you could be doing, and all of them would piss me off. You'd be, if you had a smirk, I'll backhand your ass there.
Oh, I'll be smirking.
If you were like stone faced, like he's just pretending to be stone because he thinks he's going to piss me off.
I'll be laughing my ass off.
If you're going to be like, wow, that's awesome, I'd be like, that's sarcastic. You're not really liking it.
No, I'm not.
There's no way I can sit next to you in John Wick 4 and not lose it on you right there in the theater.
Do you think Chris Rock is going to be like full Chris Rock? Why do all these people trying to put shotgun shells on people's neck? What's going on with these people? How come everybody's got to be all killing people with a shotgun shell? I mean, do you think?
No.
I think Chris is just going to go full Chris.
No, I don't think it will. No, I don't think. No, I do not think he will.
Yeah.
I get to. I've read that he's like a huge horror fan.
Well, he's a big fan of Saw.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know that he's like horror movie in general, but he's a fan of Saw.
So I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm. That's the thing. It's like I'm interested in it, but then I feel bad for myself after. I feel badly.
All I know is
after watching it.
I think we had fun discussing Godzilla versus Kong, how bad that movie was.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's an idea for something because
how long is it on? Frankly, is it on? Is it one of these things where it's on HBO at the same time it's in the theater?
I don't know.
No, it's not because I looked it up. It is only in theater.
Because honestly, we're running out of things to talk about.
Yeah, I know. Does it start this weekend?
I think so.
Okay, I'll have to get through all these episodes before then. I'm on 4. I can finish that one tonight.
I was gonna go in cold.
Go to 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Well, don't do that because then I'm going to know everything. I'm going to be leaning over saying, hey, that's the bucket from the last one where they put the chicken in.
You already know everything.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
I don't like movies that I can figure out that quickly. Shawshank Redemption, that's amazing.
Once again, you're comparing a horrible movie to one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah, but
that was the longest night of his life.
Andy Dufresne. Stuck there in that cell, chained up with that other fella.
That in a big damn poster. Yeah.
Ocean's 11. See, I love Ocean. I love all the Ocean's movies.
I only saw the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't need to see the other ones. You saw the first one.
No,
You're good.
I love them all. Well,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're all great.
I'll tell you a movie that I did not. Well, I can't say that I disliked it because we rented Tenet.
Okay.
And Libby and I watched about a half hour of it.
Yeah.
Okay. And every 5 minutes, she'd be like, who is that? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I would ask her, what's he doing? And she'd go, And Libby's the smart one.
Yeah.
Libby figures it out. Okay. Yeah. And Libby sometimes gets frustrated with me because she pauses it. He's the guy who bought the ice cream store to impress his girlfriend who's dating his older brother. Oh, okay.
Libby seems to get upset with your stupidity quite a bit.
Sometimes.
Your idiocy annoys your wife.
Well, no. Yeah. I told you about the Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah.
So when I first saw the Lord of the Rings,
you had to keep pausing. You had to keep asking.
I fell asleep in the theater.
Who's glowing? Who's Glimly? Who's
exactly. And then
Gimli.
We watched it on DVD.
Yeah.
And I kept pausing it and asking her, and she thought I was giving her crap about it.
Yeah.
And she thought that I was intentionally trying to bother her. And I finally just I want to understand this. And now that I do, I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But we watched Tenet, not a damn clue.
Yeah.
It's like they're pretending to be art dealers so that they can stop somebody from selling a gun that shoots bullets backwards through time. I don't know. And Kenneth Branagh is the most despicable person you've ever met.
So which one is he?
Really care.
Oh, he's the guy with the beard.
He's the guy with the bad guy. With the wife who weighs like 63 pounds.
Yeah. Okay. So I watched Tenet reminds me a lot of. Did you ever see David Lynch's Dune in 1984? Kyle MacLachlan.
Some of it.
Okay. So it looked really cool. I've read it's a really bad movie. I've never watched it from beginning to end in a single sitting. I've always seen it in portions. It had Sting in it.
Yeah.
So there's all these factors in it that make it really awesome. But I have no idea what the hell happened.
Yeah.
Tenet's kind of the same thing. Mm-hmm. I know it's an awesome movie. I get enough of it that it bothers me.
Yeah. It's extremely well made.
Yeah.
Okay. But I love Christopher Nolan. I do.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why he doesn't have an Academy Award, but I can only imagine Christopher Nolan going to a Bob Evans, and his problem is he can't order his food backwards.
Yeah,
it's like I wish there was a way I could eat my food and then read the menu. I mean, it's like the guy is obsessed.
Well, here's the thing:
he's obsessed with time.
Yeah,
and things being out of time and backwards and Memento
he's obsessed with details and he's obsessed with getting it right.
Yeah,
because if you like Interstellar, you watch some of these movies, he does it's really really smart, and you watch him over and you keep seeing new things, so he knows what he's doing. Right. It's not like frickin' Saw, where you see through it in the first whatever, or they're just doing things to mess with your mind. That's what makes Tenet so infuriating, is because it confuses the urine out of you.
Yeah,
but it's Christopher Nolan. You know how much care he puts into things. You know it makes sense. You know when you see this whole... I understand. Here's the thing. I understand that final battle...
I've like I said, half hour into it, so I don't understand.
Half of the army is going forward in time. Half of the army is going back in time, which means the beginning of the movie is the end of the movie.
The beginning.
And the end is the beginning.
Right.
So you can, in theory... run the movie backwards, and you would see a similar movie. The dialogue would work, but it's the same thing, and that blows my mind. But here's the thing: it bothers me that I still get I know that, and I get that concept, and I still he's running. That's happened in the beginning. Well,
now you can see Memento. Half of the movie, the color part was forward.
Yep,
and then the black and white stuff was happening in
he just did all that at the same time.
And then it meets in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Inception was dream inside a dream inside a dream.
Yeah.
Not so much time travel, but happening simultaneously. I don't know. I mean, I wonder why in Dunkirk...
It was time dilation, because in Dunkirk it was time dilation. Yeah. Dunkirk, it was the one time he kind of copied himself.
One thing happened in a period of a week. One thing happened in a period of an hour. One thing happened in a period of a month.
One was 5 minutes, one was an hour, and one was a day, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And you realize it in the end. Yeah. You realize, holy They haven't been flying because I was like, how the hell they been flying all this time?
I mean, it's like I love the guy, but you have to have a degree in physics.
But here's the thing. That's what makes it so infuriating with Tenet is because if he came out with Tenet first, you'd be like, okay, clearly this guy's crazy.
Then I would never watch probably any other thing.
But you've seen enough movies to know he knows what he's doing.
Okay.
So then he throws Tenet on your ass.
All right.
And it's kind of like James Cameron when he made Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
He was known for Terminator, Aliens, all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, boom, here's a movie. There's no aliens.
No.
There was no Terminators that I could see. At least none that got their skin knocked off till we see their exoskeleton.
Yeah, I watched it 4 times at the theater, so there were no...
No blue people.
Yeah. No.
Some of them were blue when they floated.
It's almost the equivalent of when Peter Jackson made The Lord of the Rings. Peter Jackson had made crap after crap. Meet the Feebles. Oh, good God, man! Have you ever seen Meet the Feebles? I
haven't, but I saw Dead Alive.
Yeah,
we had some friends, dear friends, love them to death.
Yeah,
they were so excited they wanted us to see that movie. I think.
Did you watch it after Lord of the Rings or before?
But after.
Okay, because when I heard they were making
no, it was before. It was before. I saw.
When I heard they were making Lord of the Rings, I was like, with Peter Jackson? Okay.
So there is a holdover from that for them that I didn't notice, and I've talked to you about this podcast before, the Film Junk podcast, which I love dearly. And they talked about one thing that annoys them. One of the reviewers is when Peter Jackson does his slow motion.
Yeah,
it's weird, half framey. And once they mentioned that, I never noticed it before, but now when I watch those movies, I can't unsee it. And it's like a holdover from the previous thing. It's almost, just watch it. I'm trying to think. There's a few times it's very apparent when it happens. It's when Frodo gets stabbed by the ring race. It happens then. It happens during a lot of when the orcs are taking Merry and Pippin.
Yeah,
there's a lot of it there. So you don't notice it if you're not looking for it. But once someone tells, I just ruined all those movies for you.
No,
you'll see it. You'll see.
What am I looking for?
You're looking for a weird slow motion that's blurry. He doesn't do slow motion like The Matrix or stuff that you like Marvel, like you're used to.
I mean, I've watched these with fine detail. I've never noticed any.
You'll see it. You'll see it. I didn't notice it either until I listened to that podcast, and now every time I watch it, I'm like, "Yep, there's that shit again."
Yeah. Okay.
So, I think it's why you remember he did The Hobbit in like 40 frames per minute or per second or 60 frames per, and it makes it look like soap opera. They call it the soap opera.
That's
effect.
That's an effect that you can change on the back of your set.
I know, but he filmed them that way.
Okay.
They were released in the theaters that way. So if you went to go see them in the theaters in the 60 frames, some theaters couldn't do that, but some digital theaters did 60.
Because the theater that we went to was not like that.
Okay.
Or I would have. That bothers me.
It does bother me too.
Really,
our TV upstairs does it, and we cannot turn it off, and it drives me nuts.
Oh, I can't stand it.
Yeah, down here, I almost took this TV back because I couldn't figure it out, and then I figured it out. So.
Right.
But yeah. What the hell? We went down a rabbit hole.
We interrupt our show for a special announcement. Congratulations to Jason Durbin, Irritable Dad Syndrome's Listener of the Month. This has been a special announcement.
Well, listen, a big fan of the show.
Yes.
Chris Michael. He has 2 questions for us. The first question is,
say Dear
Irritable Dad Syndrome.
Okay.
If Thanos was so smart, why didn't he just double the resources instead of killing half the population and making everybody hate him?
That's pretty good.
And I was talking about it with the kids.
That's pretty good.
I'm like, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
He totally could have just made more stuff. He could have made the Earth bigger.
Yeah.
And if he makes the Earth bigger, he could have moved the sun and the moon. He could have made the entire universe bigger. He has the reality stone, the space stone, the time stone, the gall stone. He's got all of the stones.
The Blarney stone?
The Blarney stone, yes. In there? The rolling stones. He's got them all. He could have done anything he wanted to, but no, he decides to kill half the population.
Stone Temple Pilots?
And now everybody thinks he's So he totally could have done that.
I want to think they said something about that. Not in the movies. Yeah, that's a really good question. That's
very
really
good point.
Question.
And his second question was, he asked if we could recommend a good wallpaper stripper.
This portion of Irritable Dad Syndrome is brought to you by Diff Liquid Concentrated Wallpaper Stripper. With its unique enzyme action, Diff dissolves old paste and cuts wallpaper removal time in half. That's right, half. Imagine all the free time you'll have after stripping wallpaper with Diff. Hell, you could take a walk, go to a movie, or shoot pool with your old buddy that just got out of prison. Your options are unlimited with Diff. Oh, and did I mention that no steamer is needed? It may sound crazy, but it's true. No steamer is needed when removing wallpaper with Diff. Diff is the only one that really works. Look for Diff wherever quality wallpaper stripper is sold. Diff, the official wallpaper stripper of the 2021 Summer Olympic Games.
All right, thanks, Dave. And Chris, thank you for your questions. Now, I brought something with me tonight, Mike, for the podcast.
Yeah.
We're going on vacation. We're going to go to Hilton Head.
Okay.
Last year we bought one of these and we lost it.
Okay.
It's a Wave Runner football. It's perfect for playing with in the pool or at the ocean or on the beach or whatever. Water. We had a Nerf football and it got wet and it soaked all the water in it. It weighed like 30 pounds. Caught it and it knocks you down and takes all the breath out of you. But the thing that amazes me about this Wave Runner football is it comes with directions and restrictions.
Oh.
So this will fall into the duh segment of our show. So the Wave Runner football, the directions are grip it, throw it, catch it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Duh. I had no idea what the hell to do with this thing.
Yeah, they've encompassed all the actions that you could legally do with that thing.
Legally?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what you suggested doing with it before the podcast started.
There's some illicit things in there. If you, yeah.
It's,
if you read, are there Spanish instructions? They may add some extra things in there. We may want to get.
Why would the Spanish
translated?
Why would the Spanish-speaking people do different things with the football?
They have different laws. No, I mean they may restrict more things than what we have.
It's all-weather football. It's got a heavy-duty bladder.
That's what she said. Yeah.
What's a bladder? It's got a heavy-duty bladder?
That's where you put the air.
Okay. I thought you put the air in the ball. Okay.
No.
It's double-laced for a perfect spiral throw. There you go. Great for beach, pool, or outdoor play. And it's got a special grip pattern for perfect throw and catch. But here's the catch.
Okay.
Speaking of catch, you go down to care. It's recommend that you deflate the ball a little bit after every use to release pressure. Okay,
Tom Brady. What the hell?
That's what I was gonna say.
Jeez.
And you should clean the ball with a dry cloth. Who cleans their football? Have you ever
Nobody
cleaned
cleans a football. Maybe if you throw it in a pile of dog, you may wipe it off.
Then you clean a football.
You wipe it off on the grass next to the dog.
And then you keep throwing it because you're a man.
That's right.
Exactly. And finally, it says, keep away from direct heat or sunlight.
Oh.
Well, that screws me throwing it out at the beach. It's great for outdoor play unless there's direct heat or sunlight.
Unless the sun's out, and don't put it in your oven.
No. So Wave Runner football.
The bladder may deteriorate.
Pretty sure they're not going to sponsor the podcast because this is the dumbest box.
That's stupid. That's not Nerf.
No.
That's something else.
No, it's not.
Nerf wouldn't put up with that crap.
No, it's not. Well, last week we asked people things that bother you that don't necessarily bother other people.
Yeah.
We got a lot of responses,
Okay.
so many that we carried some over to this episode.
Okay.
So this reminds me of a story. Libby invited me to come along with her for a Christmas party. Now, Libby is a nurse. Okay, she's been a nurse at Children's Hospital for, I can't remember how long. She's been a nurse as long as I've known her, 20-some years. I work at a TV station.
Mm-hmm.
Nurses and doctors are different than people who work in television.
Okay.
We have different senses of humor, I've learned.
Yeah, some would say.
Some would say. So I'm at this party.
Okay.
And this woman, she's going off on her husband because she sent out invitations for a party. And she is asking everybody, she says, so when you fill out an envelope and you put the address on there and then you put the return address, where do you put the stamp? And someone says, upper right corner? And she's like, yeah, you're supposed to put it in the upper right corner. Well, he puts it in the middle. Who puts a stamp in the middle? And she's going off on her poor husband. And this guy had like made all of the snacks and he had helped decorate. He had just done all this stuff for the party, and she's giving him because he puts the stamp in the wrong part of the envelope. And I stand up and I say, "Did the invitations get where they're supposed to go?" And she goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, what's the problem?" And the guy stands and goes, "Yeah." So, and then, I'm on her bad side because I sided with her husband.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Anyway.
I got to say, though, if I got a letter and the stamp was in the exact center, I don't know if I would be annoyed or if I would have some respect bordering on fear of whoever sent that.
I would immediately become this guy's best friend because it got where it's supposed to go.
That's right.
So Ann Wiseman, big fan of the show.
Okay.
This thing that bothers her is the smell of wet peanut butter. What the hell?
What's your peanut butter doing getting wet? Are you making peanut butter sandwiches out in the rain?
I mean, I know natural peanut butter, you got to stir it, which, I mean, I don't know.
All the oil,
I guess so.
That's
the
not
oil
wet,
comes to the top.
though. That's not.
I know. I'm trying to figure out how do you get.
She's talking like you get a spoonful of peanut butter.
I guess she's eating it at the pool,
and then you dip it in the pool,
and then you get hit with a Wave Runner football.
Yeah,
your peanut butter gets wet, and then it stinks.
That sounds like what she said.
I'm thinking so.
Yeah.
Lisa Coleman Ferguson. She does not care for talk to text. I agree with her 100%.
I hate
on this.
that. I just
if you're standing there talking.
Just
to
call
text.
them.
You could call somebody.
Yeah.
You could just call them and talk to them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Karen Hawkins. Karen, this is brilliant. She is bothered by people who lick their fingers to grab paper and then they hand the paper to you. That's disgusting.
There's things
absolutely disgusting.
There's things that people do to go on the Mike rage scale. Okay. Cutting you off in traffic.
Yeah.
Parking in a handicapped space when you're clearly not handicapped. Things that annoy me. This one goes from 0 to I turn into Jack Nicholson from The Shining almost immediately. What are you doing?
Right.
Like even before the pandemic as it's called in some circles.
Yes.
You don't lick a part of your body and then use that to touch something that you're going to give somebody.
I know.
It's ridiculous. I quit going to a Subway. There was a Subway that I went to almost every day. I loved it.
Right.
Because they helped me out. I'm going to leave it there. They helped me out.
They offered service after the sale.
That's right. They put the amount of cheese that I wanted.
Yeah.
They put the types of meat that I want. I didn't have to keep telling them. They're like, "Oh, we get the thing." They got a guy in there.
You need to learn more words. I'm sorry, man.
Dude, we need to open up a sandwich shop and have one of the sandwiches be called The Thing.
On the Thing.
Yeah, the Thing on the Thing. And the guy, he's making your sandwich. Okay, he's done with the sandwich. Okay, he's done making the sandwich. They have their little glovey gloves that they take off. He gets the little Subway bag. He licks his fingers to open it.
It's disgusting.
And now I'm like, the
Board of Health should shut them down.
I have to hold what you just licked. And that's going to be the last thing that touches my hand before I touch my sandwich. I'm basically, why don't you just shove my sandwich in your mouth?
You know what you should do? If somebody does that to you, you should lick something and make them hold that.
Not a very attractive man either, by the way.
Okay.
I mean, that shouldn't matter.
So by that rationale,
it doesn't matter.
If he had been a more attractive man, would you have...
I wouldn't care that much.
Say Harrison Ford licked something and handed it to you. Is he too old to be...
Yeah, he's too old. Pierce Brosnan.
Tom Cruise.
It's getting close. Keanu Reeves. He could lick his hands.
With or without the beard.
You know what? I like the beard.
You can't possibly. You cannot possibly like Keanu Reeves' beard.
I like the beard.
That is not a beard.
And here's the thing.
He looks like he has like a rash, and he's been scratching. Like, when a dog gets in something and they keep scratching. What's it called? Parvo?
Can I tell you something?
Kenny Reeves.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves has the Parvo.
I think he looks cool in the beard. I think he looks cool in the beard.
He should have like 2 days stubble.
Here's one of those things. Here's the thing. Are you ready?
His beard has more holes in it than the plot to the third Matrix.
Can you back off for a second?
No.
And let me tell you this.
No.
I see your point, but I disagree with you. All right?
Okay.
I see where you're coming from, but you're wrong.
Okay.
All right.
Joy Brown, she's got a lot of sock problems. She doesn't like wet socks with seams that get caught under your toenail. I agree with that. Socks should not have seams.
No.
At all.
Tube socks all the way.
And wearing socks to bed.
That pisses me off.
I used to never wear socks to bed, but the older I get, the colder I get.
I get mad at myself if I wake up. So typically what I do when I go to bed is I take my socks off and then I go to bed. And I wake up one or two times.
You live a life of
I'm telling you, it's utter excitement.
Yeah.
At least once, sometimes twice during the night.
They should do a reality show on you. Like, tonight, Mike takes off his socks.
At least once, sometimes twice a night, I'll get up and go potty. And go down to the thing, go potty.
Thing.
Yeah.
You go to the thing, pull out your thing, and do the thing.
Let me tell you something. If I wake up, sometimes I forget to take my socks off. If I wake up and I have my socks on when I'm doing that, I get mad at myself. I give myself a little, what's the opposite of a pep talk? A talking to?
Right.
A coaching session, as it's called. What the hell's wrong with you? Leaving your socks on.
In the South, we call that a come to Jesus.
I have a fireside chat with myself.
Okay.
We're not going to wear our socks to bed again, are we? Mike. No.
And then you're like,
we're not.
I didn't mean to wear my socks to bed. Go here.
Okay.
By the way,
Chris Hughes, who's banned from the show, his problem, the thing that bothers him that doesn't bother anybody else, is people who ban people from podcasts for no reason.
I expect that.
He knows why we banned him from this podcast.
It's ridiculous.
And he needs to get over it.
He ought to be ashamed of himself.
Nobody likes him.
Literally.
Yeah. Jerk. And finally, Michael Flannery, good friend of the show. Meryl Streep. I like Meryl Streep.
I don't like that name.
Okay.
What was she in? Sophie's
What
Choice?
was she in? What wasn't she in? What movie was she in?
Well, I don't know that I've seen
Kramer versus Kramer.
I've never seen
Sophie's Choice.
Never seen it.
The crap. She's won
Hot Dog the movie.
She was in Hot Dog the movie. That's right. She played the hot dog.
The Kentucky Fried Movie.
Exactly.
Was she in that one?
Yes, she was in that.
Spaceballs.
Yeah. Spaceballs. Sissy Spacek was in
I don't think
Spaceballs.
I've seen her in any movies other than like if she were like a gag role, like if she was in Meet the Fockers. Was she in that?
That was Barbara Streisand.
Yeah, I didn't see Meet the Fockers either.
You really haven't seen a Meryl Streep
I really
movie?
don't think I have. I'm serious.
Now this is because I'm 50 and I'm losing my mind, and when I get put on the spot, I forget things. But she was in The Devil Wears Prada.
I didn't see that. I'm going to IMDb.
She played.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go through the filmography and see if I've seen any of these movies. Are you ready? 93 movies. Jesus.
Yeah. Dude, she's been.
Don't look up. No,
she's been nominated.
Let Them All Talk. The Prom. James and the Giant Peach.
She's been nominated for more Academy Awards than any other actor
Mary
or
Poppins.
actress.
Mary Poppins Returns. I saw that.
Did you look up Emily Blunt?
She's in.
Or
Mary
did you
Poppins.
look up Meryl Streep?
She's cousin Topsy in Mary Poppins Returns. I saw.
Okay.
Mamma Mia. Here we go again. No,
Yeah,
The Post. Shoulders. Florence Foster
The
Jenkins.
Post
Guardian
was with her and
Brothers.
Tom Hanks.
Suffragette. Ricky and the Flash. Into the Woods. The Giver. I saw The Giver. I don't remember her. The Homesman. Paul McCartney. August. Hope Strings. Let's get down to the movies in the 80s I would have actually seen. Fantastic Mr. Fox. I didn't see that. I did not see Mamma Mia.
Fantastic Mr. Fox was animated.
Devil
with,
Loves
George
Prada. I saw. Okay, I
Devil Loves Prada
saw
was good.
part of the Fox. A Manchurian Candidate. I saw that.
Okay.
I don't remember her.
Okay.
AI. I saw AI. I liked AI. I'm one of the few. Oh, she was a voice. I liked AI. Did you see AI?
Yeah.
I liked that movie. Like that movie really affected me.
Yeah. Steven Spielberg wrote that
because the whole thing, like people thought it was boring. It didn't do well.
No, it didn't do well.
But before we had kids, that movie really affected me. And after we had kids, I keep thinking of AI because he's a little boy. He just wants to spend one day with his mom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You're going to make me cry. I'm going down here. I don't see anything that I've seen.
I'm going to tell you something.
Okay.
Kramer versus Kramer is...
Out of Africa. I didn't see that either.
Kramer versus Kramer is in my top 10 all-time favorite movies.
Okay.
Okay, Dustin Hoffman was amazing in it.
Yeah.
Meryl Streep was amazing in it. And the kid, Justin Henry, was incredible in it. And, no special effects.
Sad?
No. Yes and no.
Okay. I saw The Deer Hunter. I have The Deer Hunter.
Yeah.
I have a Meryl Streep movie.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a good movie. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it is hard to watch. It was very hard to watch.
Yeah. Well, grow a set and watch it.
Wow.
You're going to tie this on here like Axl Rose.
Okay.
There we go. Or is it Steven Tyler? I think they both do that.
Yeah. Steven
Or
Tyler ties all the bandanas and the sashes and the
if it were a
shit
brawl,
to his,
I'd be Sammy Hagar.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Maybe one of these days we'll do an Irritable Dad Syndrome live event. And all the women will throw bras at us.
One of the Kroger workers will throw a bra at the crowbar.
I don't think that's ever going to happen. All right, well, guys, this has been another episode, and we appreciate you sitting through it with us.
Did you like it?
I hope they did.
Did you loathe it?
I liked it.
Either way, leave a message.
Exactly.
Do something. Say something.
You're not
to
asking
us.
me. You're talking to the
I'm
fan.
talking to them. I'm looking at you.
Let me step back, and you do your thing.
I want you guys to help me help you. Tell us what you think. Leave a review of the show. Subscribe to the show if you like it.
Okay, as you would say, here's the thing.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's the new Irritable Dad Syndrome drinking game. Whenever you say, here's the thing, do a shot, you will be hammered by the end of the show.
That plus you saying, just shut up. Can you shut up?
Yeah, exactly. Right. We've done 38 episodes now.
As of right now, we've done 38.
We've had 2 people leave reviews.
Yeah.
We have asked every week, leave a review for the show.
I'm starting to think you people aren't really listening to what we're saying.
Our diehard fans, our Steve Farrells and our Chris Michaels and our Andrew Gibbons, and those guys who've listened to every show, they don't leave reviews.
No.
Our Karen Hawkins, our Gina Penningtons,
we leave
Lisa
it all
Coleman
in the field,
Fergusons,
people.
They don't leave reviews. We have asked and asked and asked, would you leave a review for the show?
Yeah.
And they don't do it.
So
and
Go ahead.
I've about had it.
I'm
about to not be nice anymore.
I want you guys to pause the show right now.
Okay.
And go leave a review. Pause.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Thank you. Was it a good one?
Would it kill you?
Did you just leave a review?
Would it kill
Pause
you?
Pause it and go back and change it to be a nice review.
I wish Mike and Darren had talked more about the monkeys. 4 stars.
You know what? If you guys would write something in a review that we could read and we could add to the show, we would do it.
We could make this show better. Yeah. Exactly.
How about we start reading the reviews?
Yeah.
We'll start reading the reviews. Leave a review, we'll read it.
We'll read it on air.
And on the off chance that someone leaves a bad review, we'll read it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
We'll read it. We'll quack it out.
Yeah.
Or you know what we'll do? We'll get Dave Lay to read the review.
There you go.
That'll be something. I think people probably like Dave Lay more than they like us.
We should call this the Dave Lay Syndrome. And we do commercials while he does the show.
I wonder how many people listen to the podcast just to hear Dave's commercials.
Yeah, I would say 90%.
Because I think Dave Lay does a badass job.
He does.
Of reading the commercials for the show.
He does.
Yeah.
And if you're an idiot that doesn't understand that badass means a good thing, because we got a lot of millennials out there. And
no help.
There's no help. Michael Jackson's Bad was like in the 90s, 80s, 90s. Some of these kids weren't born. They might be confused. It's like when a kid now says, "That's sick," and I'm like,
I know.
Okay,
dude, that's off the chain.
Yeah, that's nasty.
Listen, guys, we want to thank you for joining us again, and we'll see you next week on Irritable Dad Syndrome.
Wow, what an episode! This one reminded me of that scene in Shawshank Redemption where Andy Dufresne crawled through a river of. Wasn't that a great movie? Anywho, see you next week on Irritable Dad Syndrome.
Clearly, nobody likes you because you're with Chris Huth. Cool Whip.
Cool Whip.